Morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? So let me bring up this image here. Okay. What is going on? So, Fed is releasing their rates at excuse me, at 2, and then Powell speaks at 2:30. Okay. I think they're most likely going to pause rates. Right, keep them the same. It really just depends on what Powell says on where the market goes, pretty much. If they raise rates, the market's probably going to tank. If they decrease rates, I don't think they will, but then we'll go green. But everyone's expecting them to, to keep rates where they are. Right, that's where, it's expected. So it really comes down to what Powell says. And then, that'll determine where the market goes. Yeah, definitely extra cautious today. It's probably going to be no momentum and super choppy up until Powell speaks. I usually don't trade the morning of, which you really shouldn't. You could. If there's a setup, fine. I'll trade it. But it's always best to just, no trade is better than a losing trade. So, let me get this music up here. I gotta fix this. Fix my sound. There we go. Okay. So, SPY, everything's green here, pre-market. SPY up 0.35%, Q's up 0.38%. SPY sitting right at this 444.3 resistance. Right, rejected here, was a support, and so on. Right, pretty big level right here. So, if this can push through, I really wouldn't want to touch it until 445.2. Right, that previous candle was a pretty big support, was a support here, kind of rejected here. So 445.2 is kind of the main level to the upside. Once that breaks, then I think we can go for a gap fill here, right? We have a gap to fill above. So once Powell starts speaking, that would be pretty solid. We take calls through here and we, look for a gap fill to the upside. That is something I would take. And then look for, a move to 451 or so. That would be ideal. Okay. Below, if we start to break to the downside after he starts speaking, I think 442.75 is going to, be my entry point. It depends really where we are when he starts speaking, but that could be my entry point for a move to low a day. So I'm going to change this to green, or I'm going to change it to red. That'd be the target, and then this to green, and this to yellow. Yellow is kind of like the price target, and this is just a resistance in between. Okay, so I got the plan on SPY. QQQ, kind of similar, right? 372.74 is that main resistance above. If that breaks, we can probably push for a move to around here or so. Around 375, right? Support, resistance. So that's a solid level as well. That looks pretty good. And then below, right, we have this previous support. It acted as support. We kind of had that fake breakdown yesterday. So we'll watch that. But definitely some good setups. Tesla All right, we have this previous triple top. We broke down. We pulled back right to this previous resistance as a new support. Right, we played that breakdown yesterday for a small little move. And it's just consolidating above. Right, we have this pink trend line. If this breaks down today, right, everything else should pull back with it around 260.5. I'm going to set an alert right here, and we'll watch that. And then we'll set an alert up here as well, right by the gap. Right, there's a little tiny gap there to be filled. Google, right, almost had that breakdown, but held. It is sitting at these highs, so if that starts to break through, it can definitely push. But I'm not really going to be playing any breaks today until Powell speaks. Coin broke down yesterday, right? Dip, a little pullback, a little retest. And now it's continuing to the downside. Not a bad play below, this previous support, right? Support acted as support again, and it's going for it for a third time now. So you could definitely play through that. So that's not too bad. Let's see, NVIDIA. Right, NVIDIA, I have this line drawn here, 439.9 from this previous resistance, acted as resistance. Here's a support, and so on. Right, and it's still sitting below there. So once it could break through that is when I would consider, looking to go long. But until then, I'm not interested in going long yet. Right, you want it to break the major levels. Shop, I'm not interested in, really no setup there. Meta is looking pretty decent. It's still in this flag, right? It's been in this flag for a long time. Higher lows, lower highs. If it can break this level, 309.84, is when I'd really start to look at it, right? Because this is a pretty big level. Support, acted as resistance, right? Was the key break level here. So, if it could break 309.84, solid. Not too bad. Not too bad. Definitely setting up. Apple still below this triple top here. Once it can break over that, then we'll talk, and it should push up to this gap fill that it has to 181.5. And then if 181.5 can break, we have a lot of room to run. 185, 186 probably. Next big level above. Yeah, around 185. Right, this previous resistance acted as support. Netflix not really too interested in right now. Could play it through this, previous support as a new resistance and look for upside. It's just not my typical setup that I'll trade. Amazon's up 0.67%. Higher lows in place. Right, broke through this previous resistance. Was a support, was a resistance, acting as support again. And it's pushing back up. We have a gap to fill above here at 138.84. Not too bad. Let's see what else we got. All these names kind of look... Microsoft just has not looked good at all recently. AMD has a double bottom here, right? Support, but still, it's just... Overall setup's kind of brutal. It's very, very choppy. Very choppy. Nando was posting some good charts yesterday. On the Qs, he was looking at this, I'm pretty sure. All right, so resistance, kind of an inverse head and shoulders here, right? Left shoulder, head, potential right shoulder. But it is pushing up 0.4% here pre-market. Right, we wanted to see it flag here and then breakout. It is pushing up though, so you know, if it breaks 371.83, you know, it looks pretty decent for its next leg up, which is the level I mentioned. So that looks pretty good. He also mentioned CVS. Right, CVS was kind of creating this rising wedge. Right, something like that, but it is pushing up here a bit pre-market. But we do have this resistance up above. Right, resistance, support, support. So it's going to act as a resistance potentially. So it's not a bad play to try and, if this starts to reject, to play this into that level below. Right, just a game of probabilities. Right. Thoughts on cost? So it is sitting below this. Kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders a little bit. Not the best, but right, left shoulder head, potential right shoulder. You know, has earnings. Let's see. Not till next week. Decent setup though. Ooh. Definitely decent setup. Looks pretty solid on the daily here. It is still sitting below this resistance also. But looks like if it can break over this, it should be set up for its next leg up. If everyone can drop a like in the video, that'd be great. Only at 9. Let's get that up. Let's get it up. So that's pretty much what I'm watching today. Anyone have any questions? Ideally, you're going to want to wait till Powell speaks. Until then, it's probably going to be pretty slow. Yeah, no problem at all. No problem. When am I drawing the winner for the Twitter giveaway? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. So yeah, VIX is pulling back a bit here, right? Major level was 14.68 and below is around 13. So we'll need to see, you know, where it goes from there. But right now it's just in the middle of the range, so it's got a little bit of wiggle room. But I'm going to call it there. I got to get a coffee quick. I ran out of my Keurig pods. So I'm going to end it here, grab a coffee, and I'll set up the Zoom. Ideally, there's going to be no trades until 2 o'clock. Anyway, so best to wait until then anyway. So I will see you guys in the Zoom. If you guys have any questions, let me know.